Hello, hello, hello. Welcome everybody to Intro to Designing in Canva, brought to you by Game Changer Group. I'm Anne-Marie Hostler. I will be your host today and your guide. And just wanted to take a moment to just thank everybody for being here. Thanks for taking the time out, and congratulations on taking this awesome step for your business, or maybe you're acting on behalf of another business, but thanks for being here. I'm super excited to share this tool with you. Canva is an awesome resource for anyone who's looking to do some basic graphic design but doesn't want to pay an arm and a leg for the Adobe Creative Suite or some of the other graphic design software tools that are available. It is super easy to use and super easy to get access to. And so let's just start with the basics. First of all, you're going to go to canva.com, C-A-N-V as in Victor A.com. It's going to give you an opportunity to log in with your Google, your Facebook, or you can sign up for a private Canva account. We are going to primarily stick to working in the free version of this tool today because I want you guys to understand all of the benefit you can get from just using a free resource. That's what we're all about over here at Game Changers, trying to equip you with as much free complimentary resources as possible so you can take your business to the next level. And they have great solutions that are plug and play. So it's just a basic login process. They're going to offer you the opportunity to upgrade to the paid version, which gives you some enhanced features. So down here at the bottom, you can see Try Canva Pro, and it will take you through some of the additional benefits you get from the paid version. One of the cool things available in the paid version of Canva Pro that I'll hit on a little later is if you're doing any paid digital ads. So let's say you're doing display ads on the Google Ad Network. If all those words I just said make no sense to you, I'll break it down at the end. But if you're doing display ads for your business, for example, on the either Ad Choice Network, Google Ad Network, and you probably are running static ads. With Canva Pro, you can actually use their tool that will animate your ads and make them actually play in real time. And so it becomes a dynamic ad instead of a static ad. And the data speaks to the dynamic ads just performing much better, especially when it comes to display ads. So if this is something that you're attracted to, something that's going to work for you, you may consider trying out Canva Pro for their free trial and working with some of those things. Highly recommend that anything you design, that you set up a testing plan for it, and we'll talk about that in a minute as well, of how you can test your designs when you put them into market, or when you put them on Facebook, or when you put them on your website, and measuring the effectiveness of that so that you can make good design decisions as you move forward. But Canva is a great place to start. So this interface is new, but they've made it even easier for you. So let's just explore a little bit here. You can search for what you're trying to design. So let's say I'm looking for an Instagram story. It's going to go ahead and give me the correct pixel dimensions for the story layout. Sorry, let me move, my toolbar is in the way. So it's going to give you the correct layout. You can search by keywords. If I want to use this template, I would just click there and it's going to take me into a new screen. But before we dive into that, let me just take us back out to the home screen. So you can search by the type of template you're looking for. They have them nicely organized for you here at the top. So many of you, I'm sure, engage in some form or fashion on social media. So for all your Instagram stories and posts, they're going to have some templates available for you here. Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest. Awesome resources because keeping track of pixel dimensions for all of the different social media platforms, all the different interfaces it's a pain. So this is an awesome, awesome, awesome tool. You can also, if you're building assets for your business, like an invitation, a card, a resume, postcard, t-shirts, all of that can be designed here. They've really amped up their game in that realm. They have presentations, website, logos. If you are someone who's looking for a very simple logo, I would empower you to try out their logo builder. We'll go into that a little bit later and see what's available there, because as you're building your business, you know, logo is kind of one of those foundational blocks that you're going to want to establish. And a resource like Canva can really help you get started. Business cards, invoices, and proposals, so everything looks really consistent and nice and neat. And then marketing assets, poster, flyer, all of you that you see here. They've got this new resource for education, which is super cool. Sorry. So for my teacher crowd out there, woohoo, I used to be an elementary school teacher, and I was constantly looking for things that I could customize, and doing it in Word was just a pain in the butt. So they've got awesome resources for teachers here. And then some new trending stuff, like as Zoom is becoming more and more popular, Zoom backgrounds, and you can like brand your backgrounds, which can be a powerful tool, yada, yada, yada. So mind maps, that kind of stuff. So really fun little playground that they've created here for anybody who loves graphic design as much as I do, who loves expressing themselves through this art form, loves telling a story through this art form. This is a super cool tool. And again, all it took was me just logging in with my Gmail account, bada bing, bada boom. So on the left-hand side here, you're gonna see all of the designs that you've been working on. So everything gets stored here for you. This was a logo I was working on for somebody, so that's stored from the last time that I was in here. You can manage this, move them. A lot of people are becoming more and more familiar with like these organizational systems. This looks a lot like file share and Dropbox and that type of stuff. For a brand kit, you can get started with designing a logo, and they make it super easy for you. So you can make sure that like when you go to design everything that's set up in your brand kit, you'll have the correct colors, the correct typeface. If you have a custom font for your brand, you can upload your font so you can start using that. This is something that I need to actually take better advantage of, because even in the Adobe Creative Suite, they don't even have the ability to kind of create your palette in this sort of way. So this is a really cool tool. If you have a business that has team members and you're going to have somebody collaborate, or if you have a social media manager or your kid runs your social media, all of those are awesome options. You can invite people to collaborate under the same account, which is super awesome. And then you just have all of your folders. So other than that, Canva does come to the table with a wealth of just awesome assets. So whether that's photos, icons, the icons are super helpful, because designing an icon from scratch can be a big pain. It can be costly if you outsource it. So they have some awesome icons just ready to go. Over here, you've got Google Maps, Giphies, QR codes, all those types of things. So lots of awesome resources. They also give their own tutorial. So if you want to take it to the next level, you can watch their tutorial. Getting started with Canva, they've really got the entire thing covered. I'm just kind of leading the horse to water here. If you get in here, there are so many resources for you to be set up to be successful. And you know, I would encourage you to dive in. And of course, like myself, my team can be here for you to help you get started. We can help you get creative. We can help you problem solve, whatever you need. But there's so much here. This is just one of the most badass tools for getting started with your design projects. So The only other thing I wanted to point out before we dive into some tactical stuff is for nonprofits, Canva is free. So if you are a nonprofit, one of our nonprofit visitors, one of our awesome nonprofits in our audience, you may consider getting somebody trained up on Canva, getting them familiar so that you guys can start creating some cool stuff. So let's go ahead and jump into kind of the next layer of engaging with Canva, which is to actually go in and create something. I want to start with, let's go over to the logo builder. That's a really fun place to start. So one of the things I love about Canva is they just have a wealth of stock stuff. So you can see as I scroll through here, these are all templates that would provide you a starting point, that would provide you kind of an inspiration that you can then go in and customize. These are really high quality logos, and you should not feel shy or abashed about maybe considering using one of these templates to start your logo. They've only increased in quality over time, and I can only imagine that they're going to continue to do so. And so if you see something within their vast library that really calls to you, I would encourage you to get playing with it. So one of the things I wanted to point out up top, excuse me, is you can also kind of filter the options by your industry, your interests. If there's a specific thing that you like, if you're a restaurant, you only want to look at the restaurant options, you can filter that way. So I just wanted to point that out to you. I live in the mountains and was really drawn to actually this logo here with the mountain shining. It kind of looks like Mount Shasta. And I just love this template. So some cool features here. Of course, I can use this template. You can share all the fun engagement stuff. There's colors. So I should back up a second. I mentioned pixels earlier, and I wanted to, for those of you who aren't familiar, I'm going to get kind of technical in some graphics language. So everything in graphic design is the measurement, instead of inches and centimeters, everything is measured in pixels. And so the dimensions, like this is a square box, this is 500 pixels by 500 pixels. So everything you see is going to be, you're not going to see anything in inches, you're not going to see anything in centimeters or anything like that. Everything should be measured in pixels. So when you go and let's say you're making, like TikTok's really popular. If you were creating something for TikTok, well, TikTok wasn't a standard template in here, so I need to go do some research about the pixel size I need. So there's oftentimes, like based on different resolutions, different varieties. So for TikTok, you can do a 720 by 1280, 640 by 640, 1280 by 720. So those are the best practices for your pixel dimensions. And then of course, there's going to be file formats, which is a whole nother conversation and discussion. And then there's also going to be like output. So you might have to render, if you're doing like a video, for example, or even if you're doing a static image that just has large images in it, you're going to need to make sure that your file size is of a certain size or less. So those are kind of different conversations, but I just wanted to point out and speak to pixels, how they're relevant, why they matter. And if you're creating something that's not available to you in the templates, you can always just Google what pixel size you need so that you don't get any distortion or anything like that. All right. So the other thing you're going to really want to know as you're building your brand, working in Canva, doing graphic design work, is colors come with a code, and based on whatever you're designing for is going to determine if you're working in RGB or if you're working in CMYK. But again, that's a more advanced place to go. Just know that this may be referred to as what's the color hex code. It might be what's the Pantone's not as popular. If you're getting into print, that might come up, but just know that your colors come with a code, and usually they start with a hashtag and then number and letter sequence. And so as you're building your brand, for example, if adventure camping was my brand and I wanted my brand to have consistency throughout, then this is basically this little snapshot right here. Gives me everything I need to know about my brand. I have my brand colors, my white, my black, my, I guess, camel and tan. And then as we move down into the typefaces, or more commonly known as fonts, you're going to have your fonts that make up your brand. So we can see that the League Gothic is used in adventure, the Pathway Gothic is what's making up the 2020, and then the Jonathan is making up this cool camping underneath. So, and then it's giving you your graphics. And so this is a Canva graphic, and you can purchase the use of this. So if I really liked this logo, I didn't want to use a different logo, I know that this is what I want. When I get ready to download it, it will prompt me to purchase that image. So you can see that here. Like if I'm ready, if I got my logo exactly how I want it, and I mean, I can make it bigger. I can do all types of stuff. I'm going to pay and download, and I can download a free watermark draft if I'm maybe collaborating with partners and want to get some feedback, that type of thing. Then they'll allow me to download a watermarked version where if I zoom in really close here, you can see there's a watermark on there for Canva. So really awesome tool that allows you to kind of get to the finish line of what you are working on without having to pay a bunch of upfront costs, which is a great thing. And I will mention that a lot of the images and stuff that they have available are actually free if you go with the Pro account. So that's another benefit of the Pro account as well. I'm going to address this question that came through about could you just screenshot it? Theoretically, yes, you can screenshot this and you could use it, but there's a lot of issues with that. Number one, you're not getting the source file. So you're going to have limited options when it comes to scaling the logo. And when it comes to reusing the logo, you're going to be limited to the pixels of whatever your screenshot comes out as. That's not even getting into the legal and I guess like web-based moral law that exists, which is, you know, that you just shouldn't be using stuff that you haven't licensed. So when it comes to images that require licensing, such as this one, you would need to pay for the usage of it. And that really just kind of boils down to doing things the quote unquote right way, being compliant, not getting yourself into any issues with licensure. Never, you know, if anyone were to ever audit your brand, you want to show that you've paid for the rights to use everything that you're using, whether that's a font, whether that's a picture. I cannot tell you the importance of just keeping everything above board, making sure you have all the rights to use what you're using, because it can just be catastrophic to build a brand on something and then not have the right licenses to use it and have to change your brand as a result of it. So that's just kind of my PSA statement on that. Okay, so let's dive into some customizations. So this is going to be my recently used templates. So, you know, I can switch this up if I decided to go a completely different direction. I could do that. And note that this particular logo does not have any paid features on it. So I could keep this logo as is, or I could even just like change it to Anne-Marie's buns and download it right away and not have any issues. I would have complete usage rights to use it. And here it is, my full logo. Let me see, I'm not sure if screen is sharing that, but here it is as an output of my download, my beautiful logo in a nice PNG format for me. So super awesome, super helpful. But don't fear, because in our templates, we can always go back and find what we once had under our recently used. So going back to adventure camping. Now notice this still says Anne Marie's buns instead of camping. So it's just as easy as that. It's really as easy as using like Word, PowerPoint, something like that. Okay, let's talk about the customizations you can do here. So in this beautiful sunbeam thing we've got going on, I have the ability to not only control the size, but I can also control the color. This is where having your color codes available is super, super important. You can search for different colors, or you can type in your code. This is again a fairly new feature where they give you complementary color palettes, and I can just start playing around with the logo so that I feel like it better, I guess, represents me, my brand, what I want my brand to look like. Same thing with text. So, you know, I could do all kinds of things. So now it's a lighter palette, different feel to it, but it really is as easy as that. So if you look up here, anytime you're changing an object, you're gonna have the color, crop. So I could crop it if I wanted to and like cut it in half. I'm not sure, you know, why I would choose that, but maybe I would. I can flip it. Can do all types of stuff. Position wise, this is really helpful if you don't feel like you've got kind of that designer eye. I've been at this so long that I generally, when I start designing, I'll eyeball and I'll use my little guidelines to just tell me where center is. But if you wanted it in the exact middle of your square, at the top of your square, to the right of your square, these are all like fairly easy navigating tools. But again, these, they give you some awesome guides here. So like, this is your surrounding box, this is your point middle of your vertical plane, and then you have your horizontal plane in the middle of that. The other thing I would mention is layering. So within the position tab, you're going to find your layers. So right now, like my text is layered on top of my mountain, which is layered on top of the sunbeam. And then we can change the position by sending that backward and forward to change the dynamics of all of that. So that's how that goes. They do have transparency, which is kind of cool. So this is going to make your color more or less transparent. This can get kind of cool when you're working some effects. So for example, if I take my I'm going to move camping out of the way for a minute because it's kind of getting in my way. But if I were to move adventurer behind the mountain, so I could do that one of two ways. I could like drag it up, but position it, bring the mountain forward. Is that what I was trying to do? Yeah, placing the mountain over the words so you can kind of get this effect. And then when you play with the transparency, you can do something really super subtle. You could do something more bold. Again, I'm not saying these are design choices I would make, but just wanting to show you the possibilities. You can create links. So that when someone clicks on the image, it could take them to a specific site, and then you can lock down your design. So if I lock something in place, I locked this beam in place, I can unlock it. Oops, jumping ahead there. If I lock it into place, it means like no matter what I do, I can move all this stuff, but the beam won't move. It's locked in place. So always remember that. That can be a big point of frustration is if you've accidentally locked something. You'll know because all your options went away up here, all your customization options went away up here. But if you're having trouble moving something, double check that lock, make sure. And then finally, an easy duplication tool. So I can make a ton, and then I can also trash them and remove them, or Control Z or your home button Z on a Mac will just easily cut those out for you. So this is the logo creator. Again, there's like so many just awesome options that speak to so many different types of brands. This could, you know, still got camping on there, but so yeah, there's just, you could play in here for forever, and you can, again, like customize. If you know your color codes, you could put it in right there, or you could search for it here. And like I said, you can also search by color and start getting some inspiration. So that is the logo builder, an amazing place to start. I want to talk about if we were to create something that's maybe a little bit more robust. So let's say we want to make a poster for your brand. Again, there's going to be templates here that you can work from. These provide a starting point. But let's say you have your own brand already and you know what you want to do. You can just work with a blank canvas, which is super awesome. You can upload all your images. So I'll just bring in my logo for Game Changer here. I can insert that in. Again, I can scale. I can crop, all that good stuff. And then I can, you could bring in videos for this particular, since it's a poster, I don't need to, but if you were building like a Facebook asset or something like that, you might want to. And then you can bring in you can bring in pictures. So this is actually, let's see, let's bring in a picture of beautiful Mount Shasta, where we are located. So I can upload pictures, logos, anything that is in a general image format. This free game. They have beautiful photography. So what's really cool about this is, again, you have like your search tools up here. So I could search beach and get just beach pictures. Gorgeous, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. They also have these categories up here, summer, for example. And then when you hover over an image, you can get some information. You can add it to a folder. So if you're just kind of like perusing and getting ideas, you can start adding things to a folder. That's a paid feature. But in the corner here, you're going to see what's free and what's not. So generally, if there's this little crown, it's only available with the pro account. But if it doesn't have a crown, like for example, this sunglasses picture is free for me to use. I don't have to worry about any licensing, anything like that. So there's just some really awesome stock images available that can really elevate the look you're going for and what you're trying to achieve with very little effort. So I could start like montaging some stuff together, send this to the back, maybe bring it up one, and just start kind of creating and seeing what looks good, seeing what I like, seeing what works. Bring this to the front. Maybe this is for a summer menu, or I don't know, something like that. The other cool thing is, since we don't just use pictures, we use all types of things. Under your Elements tab, you can find all types of helpful resources, icons. If you're looking for, since we're in the summer theme, let's see if anything comes up. Awesome. So some summer icons. Again, you'll see like what's free, what's pro. The pro are going to cost you. And it will tell you here, I think when it comes to icons and images, most of them are $1. So you can get pretty far. You can get pretty far on a limited budget here. So don't fret. So I liked that icon. I'm gonna keep it there, and then I can go in once I've picked my elements. Let me see if there's anything else I want to speak to here. There's all types of things. So if I just needed a shape, like a basic shape, again, because my branding kit is set to these kind of camel and sand tones, that's what's going to default to, but I could go in and change my palette at any time. Another really cool new feature that they have here are, based on the photos you've selected, they're going to give you color recommendations. That is so helpful, because if you don't have what you would consider, you know, to be a designer's eye or whatever, they make it so easy for you. And it's just like the world is changing and making it just so fun to try new things. And I love seeing that. So, you know, you can create a shape, do all types of things with that. They have frames. So a frame, you would put in a frame and then you're prompted to add your picture in here. So your picture will be cut into this size. So like if you see here, I pulled the sunglasses into that circular shape, and now that's what I've got. And this saves you, like, I wish I could tell you how much back in the old days I would spend in Photoshop trying to achieve something that's now possible within literally seconds, 1 second, 2 seconds. It's just kind of mind-blowing, honestly. But another great thing is, like, so many times we want to show our content as if it's already on like a computer or a phone, right? So computer seems not as relevant for what I'm creating here, but you know, you start getting some cool stuff going and you can just play around. It's like a sandbox, and you can lose hours and hours and hours in here just playing around. So that's super cool. I love the frames. Very helpful, especially if you don't have Photoshop as a resource and you're trying to achieve something like that. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Stickers. This is going to be something, you know, you might be able to use in a social media post, on your website, perhaps. Those types of things. We love what we're creating here. Just trying to find space. It's kind of fun to just have no limits and play around. Graphs and charts, different illustrations and gradients, of course. So lots and lots and lots of options. All right, so now I'm going to take us into the text. So this is a beautiful design I have here, very fun and whimsical. And now I need to let people know what's going on, what's this all about. So what I love about this is they've taken the suggestions of different designers over time. Some of these, like I recognize some of these setups from 5-7 years ago, but then there's some stuff that's like brand new and just looks really in tune with the times and what's trendy. They're really good about, you know, this type of like hand script looking stuff is super popular right now, especially on Instagram and with female shoppers. So using this and being able to create something using, oops, that's not what I was going for. I wanted to get this little text here if I can. There we go. So welcome, shop our summer sale. And it looks like it's on the website, on the phone. That's super cool. Maybe I want to go in and now make it look even more realistic by adding what looks like a shop now button. So, oops. One moment, please. I can go in and create a button. Go and use different color and just create what it might look like if they were actually on the site and getting ready to shop my summer sale. So I can create like a shop now button. And you know, we're kind of, as graphic designers, in the art of illusion. So a lot of times when you see like a marketing piece or whatever, it's not an actual image of the website itself. Sometimes it is, but a lot of times it's kind of a prepared version specifically for printed materials or however you're using it. It's kind of like food photography. You just want to make it look cool. So now it's kind of replicating a website without all the other BS that you might have when you go visit the website. It's just very clean and clear about what I'm wanting you to take away from this image. So that's the text feature. Again, you can, if you know your typeface for your brand, you can navigate that up here at the top, where you can also control, oh, I should cover that. They do have these little crowns here to show you what are premium fonts, but there's plenty of options for, I just keep choosing the premium because I like them, for the free fonts. So lots of options available to you. You can control size, text color, boldness, italicize, all the basic functions of Word are available to you here. So very cool tool. If you're, what did I just pass by? These menus. Oh my gosh, can you imagine how amazing it would be instead of having to type out your entire menu? I have some friends who have a coffee shop, and I just feel like how easy and amazing to get out of here. I'm gonna open up some space. Do something like summer specials. They'd probably want it to look a little different from this, but you know, you can play with your summer specials here. It's already laid out there for you. Just change the pricing to fit your menu and bada boom. Same thing with these bestsellers. They've just got so many amazing resources here. I could just go on and on and on, but I encourage you to explore, and don't get frustrated. Find some time for where you can sit down and have some fun with it and have fun. This is another great like little plug-in here, this Talk to Us. It can be challenging sometimes to figure out on your own how to format all the information you want to communicate to people. And so I think they've done a nice job here of laying it out for you in a way that looks super professional. It's easily scalable. You just click in there, change it to your information, and you're good to go. So, I mean, all in all, I mean, this isn't necessarily something I would produce professionally for someone, but within a couple of minutes, we have an interesting looking piece here. And with some fine tuning, we could really start communicating a message to people about our summer sale or whatever it is that we want to talk to them about. So did want to point out that they do have videos for you. So this is super cool for website content, for social media posts. You can really start elevating, without a high cost, you can start elevating your image. So that's pretty cool. And like you just saw that video popped into that frame, and now like that is crazy town. It used to take so long, you guys, so stinking long to create something like that. Let's get something maybe a little more on brand. We're talking about the beach here. So if I wanted to create an even cooler element, I can move this into my frame, and now I've got a beautiful beach scene playing. So awesome. I'm just, every time I work in here, I get more and more impressed with the fact that this is free. This is totally free to you. It's so awesome. I don't want to jump there yet. Lastly, backgrounds. Kind of nice because you don't have to deal with any of the layering effects, anything like that. They make it just about as easy as possible. You can choose just solid colors up here. There's gradient options. So super cool. Lots of different things that you can do. And then if that wasn't enough, you can go to the more section, and if you're looking to pop up a brand quickly, like let's say, for example, you're just testing a concept. You know, I decided in the summertime, or maybe, shoot, if you just want to have fun, if your kids are having a lemonade stand or something, instead of it just being make the lemonade, go out and sell it, make it a fuller experience and create Abby's lemonade stand and just pick one of these prepackaged bundles for style, and it's going to load up your Canva. And look at that. I'm going to take this logo out so it's less distracting. Okay. I picked one of these styles, and it automatically not only changes the color, changes the typeface or the fonts. So everything is shifted and morphs with whatever style you choose. And I just think that is so cool. Like if I was in the very basic stages of developing my brand and I wasn't quite sure like where I wanted to take it, just get on here and start playing around, seeing what resonates with you, like what feels cool to you, what gets you excited, what feels like it represents your brand. And this is a really fun way to do that. You can add music, and then there's all these different types of integrations. So I won't go, in my next seminar, I'll go into some more advanced stuff with integrations, but like, for example, some really helpful integrations for me are a couple of things: YouTube, Instagram, Google Drive, Dropbox, Facebook. For example, if I integrate Facebook and I can just post content directly from Canva to Facebook, it makes it so much easier because I don't have to worry about downloading. I don't have to worry about any distortion that may come as a result of the uploading process. And overall, it's just like eliminating the step of downloading, eliminating the step of logging into Facebook, uploading, yada, yada, yada. So love, 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 love integrations. We can talk about that more in our advanced session that we do next. So there's a couple of things I wanted to circle back to. I'm not particularly fond of this style, so I'm gonna go change it really quickly. So I feel like I'm resonating with my design more. I actually like the way we had it originally, but we'll settle for this. So one of the things I mentioned in the intro was the concept of A/B testing your designs. And so I want to talk about, one, let me just philosophically, I guess, from an approach standpoint, talk about why that's important. And then two, we can just break down what that looks like. So the reason you would A/B test something is as you're developing your brand, as you're getting to know your brand and you're getting to know how people relate to you and what they're responding to, you're going to want to be the observer of it all. And when you're in that observer mode, data and feedback can really help. So of course you might get like feedback from your friends and family, but when it comes to your audience, your community, the way that they engage with you is a little bit different. They're doing it through likes, comments, shares, that type of activity, web visits, video views, all of that good stuff. So it may look a little different, and data becomes your friend as you're making decisions about, if I put this poster out and it generated 500 clicks to my website when I put it up on Instagram, versus if I created another page that was more simple and it just had one photo and some basic text at the top. I'm trying to give you examples as we go. Let's just go to my text. And it just had something kind of basic at the top, like more your standard word flyer, if you will. Oh, I don't know why I went up there, but just shoot it down here to page 2. So theoretically, I could have something that's representing the same message. So both trying to communicate my summer sale, 2 different layouts. I can A/B test these against each other. And I, you know, would dare say that a poster like this versus a poster like this might perform better. It's just an assumption I might make. And then what I was talking about with the pro version is if I had a video playing and this had some sort of animated life to it, or for example, if I put this very attractive woman here and my goal is to sell something that may attract an attractive woman, or that people might be attracted to her for some reason, versus the ocean, those are all going to be really important factors for me to consider as I'm making decisions for my brand. So we could do something as easy as, let's do this. This would be a great A/B test. I want to point this out because the teacher and the marketer in me is freaking out right now because I'm not doing diligence with this. But the best way to do an A/B test is you have to control as many variables as possible. So realistically, I probably wouldn't test this poster against the second poster. They're just too different. But if I really did want to do a true A/B test, I can get over here, duplicate my poster, and I could do one of 2 things. Let's say I wanted to test styles, right? Then I have the style of like kind of the light pinks over here, and I wanted to test something maybe a little bit more bold over here. This would be a really good A/B test because the content is very similar, but what I've changed is the color palette and the font. You can get as nitty gritty as you want. So for example, in some of my more, with some of my bigger clients, or with a client that's coming with a really strong brand to the table, for example, if like Walmart came to the table and they wanted to test something, Walmart has really strict brand standards. So I'm not going to mess with their brand standards. But one thing we might test is if this was how the brand standard, then maybe I would do a test of sunglasses versus lady, right? So both fit the standard, both meet the requirements, but I'm now testing how do my sunglasses perform against a picture of a lady wearing sunglasses. So that might be a very, very, very controlled A/B test where you're looking for something super specific. So the more specific answer you're looking for, the more controlled your experiment or your test needs to be. If you're just looking for broad stroke feedback and it doesn't matter to you that, you know, I need this specific answer, you could test something completely out of this world different and, you know, go a totally different way with it and just get some response on like, you know, do people like this direction? Is this something that maybe appeals to them more? Do they want to see this from me? Is this, and also like, obviously I always preach the good word of staying true to yourself. So does this feel good to me? Is this something that represents me? Is this something I want to put out? So again, like maybe maybe your color palette's the same this time, but you have just a completely different direction and intention with the piece, and you're changing the way in which you're communicating the information. So like in this particular piece, I'm just picking a pretty flower with some big bold copy. There's no smartphone. I'm not trying to communicate anything both consciously and subconsciously through the use of like the smartphone imagery and my website. What's achieved in this communication is like, we have a website, you can access it on your smartphone, you can shop online, all of that's communicated through one image. Whereas something like this is more like what I've traditionally seen used with like museums or art shows. Like it's one simple image, and a title. And you'll see a lot of this type of marketing in busier cities. Like in New York City, people don't take the time to read all of this content. And so you'll see a lot of like big perfume brands or people who can stand on very few words, or if they have an established brand, they'll go with more of this simplistic strategy. So again, you could use that A/B testing method to just kind of gauge where you're at, see how people respond. If you are running a Facebook ad, for example, they have a tool in Facebook for you to split your ads, and I can run this one at 75% of my budget and run this one at 25% of my budget and just see what happens. So there's a lot of potential there. And I'm seeing a comment come in about expounding on this more, covering this topic more. And I think it would be a really good idea. We can do a follow-up for A/B testing and what that looks like on both like Google AdWords, Facebook, and Instagram, so you guys can get more comfortable. If you are doing a media spend, if you are buying ad space for your brand, for your company, get the most out of it. I promise you, there's always something you can be doing to optimize. There's always something you can be doing to make your ads perform better. To simply put something out there and say, oh, it's not performing well, is not giving it a fair shot. There are people such as myself, my team, who spend countless hours of their life optimizing campaigns for people, making recommendations for fonts, for calls to actions, for buttons, for images, for colors, for specials, for promotions, for wording. It goes on and on and on. So don't be shy. Don't be shy to test things out. And especially when you have such an awesome resource such as Canva to get you started. Okay, so let's wrap it up here. This hour just flew by, but I just want to talk about like, how do I get it from here on my computer or wherever to somewhere where I may need it? So a couple of things. Under your file button over here on the left-hand side, you have a couple of options you can save. You can save to a folder. You can, if in this particular case, because this is a poster, it's giving me a lot of options for how to set it up for print. So like show margins, that's gonna be your printing margins, and they're just estimating print margins. Show print bleed, like if you were sending this poster to a printer, you would need all of these things. If you wanted to resize it, so let's say you're making small posters, but you're also making larger posters, and you want to make it super easy where all of the proportions and stuff are done automatically for you. In the pro version of Canva, they have a resize tool that's going to resize everything based on the dimensions you need. You can share it. So again, if you don't have collaborators on your account, or if you just wanted to send this to a friend, you can do that. You can download a PDF for print. So if you were going to take this to like a FedEx Kinko's, put on a zip drive, put your PDF on the zip drive and go get it printed, that's one option. You can order your prints with Canva. This is a new feature, fairly new feature, which is amazing. I can't speak to the service and quality, but from a business perspective, it's kudos to them for making it easy. You can also select, like, if I wanted only page 1 and 3 printed and I was just playing around with page 2, you have all of those options available to you here. Excuse me. And then of course you can get into your print options. So you can print the posters through Canva. You can download the link. You can share the link with your printer. And then of course you have the present Facebook and Twitter options. So that's kind of how you get your creative from in here to out there, wherever you're taking it, wherever there is. And it's just as easy as hitting download. It will load up your design. And I have all my downloads going to a particular folder on my computer, but you can set it up to go to your desktop, whatever you want. And there you go. So they've got this referral program. It's a great plug for Canva. I'll just give it to them since it popped up. But if you do refer people, you can get free premium photos, which is sweet. And that's basically it. Please feel free to shoot me any questions on Facebook. I'd be happy to answer them there. we've recorded this webinar, so it will be available for replay if you want to share it out, if you want to rewatch it. The fun, exciting, motivational part of this all is that this is not a place where you can mess up. There's always an erase button. There's always the opportunity to restart. And they've added in a lot of functions here that save your work for you. So if you wanted to go back to a previous version, you know, you can go into the version history in your pro account and go back in time. So I can't speak highly enough about this tool, especially for small businesses. If you know, if you're a major design house, this probably is not going to be your tool, but for my audience, my small businesses, small to medium businesses, people who run their own graphics, people who do everything in-house, self-sustaining ecosystem, this is an awesome tool. And I hope you enjoyed kind of my quick overview of everything. But like I said, reach out to us on Facebook if you have any questions. You can also get my email on the website, gamechangermarketinggroup.com. And I'll be talking to you guys soon.